Lots of you, but I'm Melissa Nelson. I have been working at St. Elizabeth Hospice and also have my own company called Melissa Care Consulting. But I recently have started a new job in Indianapolis, and I'm very excited about it as the clinical supervisor for older adult services at Midtown, which is a very large community mental health center. I think it's the largest in Indiana. I want to start out by giving you your handouts with one caveat, and that is, I'm going to save you till the end, that you don't turn them over until I say so, okay? Please just play along with me. Usually I don't like to give the handouts out until I'm done talking, but you'll see why. Unfortunately, we don't have our typical whiteboard. Would you like one? And so we're going to use the back of these papers instead. All right. Okay, so we're going to talk about, quickly, 4 secrets for caregivers, and that's one thing really nice about these presentations is that they're really short. So, 4 secrets for caregivers. I'd like you to take that piece of paper I gave you and with your pen, mark it off in 4 big squares, because that's how you're going to remember the 4 secrets, right? Okay. Yeah. So usually I'll draw this, but you're going to have to just wing it. I'm not going to do any models for you. In this top left-hand corner, I want you to draw the first secret, the thing that's going to help you remember the first secret, and that's an ear. Draw an ear the best you can. No one's going to grade it, and you don't have to show anybody. And why do we draw an ear for the first secret? Because the most important thing that we as caregivers can do is listen. And we listen not just to pass the time, but we listen to understand, and that's really to understand with our hearts as well as our heads. And if you only remember one secret, that's the secret to remember. It can be pretty frustrating sometimes working with older adults, and we see all, just like any other age group, there are all kinds of people in the older adult age group. There are those who love for people to make decisions for them because they love to be dependent. But I think there are more on the other end who don't want people making decisions for them or helping them because they want to be independent. So, depending on where the person you're talking about and working with falls, it doesn't matter as long as you've got the listening skills, the listening, the time and energy to put into trying to understand. I always like to start out telling my favorite story from when I was a nurse working in long-term care, and that is my going to Antarctica story. I worked in long-term care, and if you notice the nurses in those places, they run up and down the halls with these little carts full of pills, and that's pretty much what I did most of the time. But one evening, I worked the evening shift. I came in, and I got report from the off-going shift, and the nurse said, "Boy, we got a new patient today, and I'll tell you what, she has been up at this desk every 10 minutes wanting to know when she's leaving for Antarctica." I don't know what's going on, she didn't already come in with a dementia diagnosis, but she's got to be worked up. A week ago she was driving, and here she is, just, out of her head. So I thought, okay, well, this will be interesting. And I could see in the doorway, across the hall, this sweet little lady. I thought, she looks pretty harmless anyway, but so as the evening wore on, she never did come up and ask me about Antarctica. I was just waiting for it, but it never did happen. But as I was running down the hall with my little cart and parked it, and down the hall comes this beautiful woman, beautifully dressed. Her hair was just great. She looked like she stepped out of a magazine. And she came up to me, and I had my cart parked against the wall, and she kind of slumped against the wall. And she said, it was around Thanksgiving time, "I don't know what I'm going to do. My mother-in-law has just been brought here. We don't know what's going on with her. We don't know what's wrong. She was fine. She was just driving a week ago, and tomorrow's Thanksgiving. My husband and my daughter are in Houston at the best. They're going to have Thanksgiving dinner at the best restaurant in the city. I don't know what to do. What do you think? Can I go? Should I stay? What should I do? And besides that, whatever am I going to do with these tickets to Antarctica?" They had a very expensive vacation planned. So this little lady knew, and if we had taken time to really listen to understand, maybe we could have figured out that she knew more, that we gave her credit for anyway. So always listen to understand. I have another favorite story. It didn't happen to me. It's a story I read. And it's about a child, but it illustrates the exact same principle. The dad had taken the kids to the ball game, and it was late, and they were coming home, and it got chilly. And one little boy was in the front, and the other was in the back. And the dad took his coat, and he covered up the little boy in the back who was sleeping.